Hello, beautiful heart. Thank you for being here. Today, I felt to share my awakening process, my spiritual journey, so to say. We know that spiritual journey is not a funny path to walk. Maybe some have this way of understanding that everything is about love and light, pink rainbow butterflies, and all the heavens and all the angels playing around. When in reality is the most painful journey you can walk, because this process is peeling off the layers, layer by layer, layer by layer, peeling off the identity that you have been created for yourself, peeling off and changing your way of perceiving life, understanding that life is not and have nothing to do what you have been told as a child, in school, in university, and wherever you turn around. So now today I understand why many have fears of looking themselves in the mirror and recognize who they are. It's not a journey for everybody. It seems, from my perspective, is a journey for those brave enough to kneel, to walk like a baby in their knees and hands and crawl themselves through mud. That's how I can translate this spiritual journey or awakening journey. Of course, in this life, we choose from a soul level different experience to go through. Somebody's coming more connected with themselves than the others. But today, I will share my journey. I grew up in a place where all that I knew and I see was pain, surviving, hopelessness, and seeing how women are not respected and are being physically, mentally abused in many ways. I saw how my father was holding an axe in front of my mother's forehead. That was and how it was my childhood, because it was so much fighting. Growing in this kind of environment, all that I knew is survive, 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 and get ready that you never know what's happening the next day. So I was in a constantly flight and fight mode. Always, constantly, I was ready for the unknown to kick. So it was a really stressful life, so to say, to have. I never knew where the shit will come from and how it will look like and what kind of pain, yelling, glasses broken from the windows, doors was flying out from the where they sit in the walls. So it was a really, really painful and dark experience. I feel that it was the hell to be in. Today speaking, I feel it was a hell to be experienced. I was running from that country, and for those who hear my story, you know it. But I was running from my own country. I was not going because of will. I felt deep inside me, if I'm not leaving this country, I have no future in my life. I was not seeing a future for myself in that country. So I ran. And wherever I was running, I was not caring what's going on. I just needed to get away. So I jumped on another hill. But anyway, what I want to say with this is that my experience until the 23 years before I met my second husband, it was a constantly surviving and I constantly felt suppressed. I was not having the right to say, I was not having the right to ask what I need. I was just there to execute whatever they needed. I was not allowed to ask what I need. And my family, I felt I was not having that emotional support that I felt in my own beingness. That is what I want as a child. So it was a life where all that I could see, feel, experience was surviving, get ready to stay or run. It's like a war zone, to wrap it up in one word, is a war zone. You never know what is coming. You never know from where it's coming, but you have to be ready. You have to be ready and stay or go. So 23 years of my life were in this experience: suppression, violence, emotionally, mentally, physically, sexually, abused, raped, and the worst of the worst you can imagine. Being in Denmark, it's kind of another world has opened up to me. Have my second husband. He teach me, learn me, give me some tools to see life, to see that there is existing life, to get engaged in the world. So in 2019, I had an experience that has been opened the door to everything, to be what I am today. So having a job, having a marriage, having a home, a car, so to say, have my shit together, which have nothing to do with the material stuff. Having a hobby that I loved, and I find myself somehow, I build my confidence in, that was training Krav Maga, teaching Krav Maga, and that was helped me to boost my confidence in myself and to release a lot of anger that I was carry with me after the years of suppression and of craziness that I was being through. I was thinking life was wonderful to a point where I was so living in a circle, in a loop, that nothing was coming new, nothing was changing, everything was the same and the same. It's like, and in that process also I was smoking every day, smoking hash. And every evening I was starting a joint, chill out, go to sleep, wake up, new day. You know the routine, go and do it. And again and again and again. Till a point where I got this thought to meditate. I knew nothing about meditation. I knew nothing about spirituality. I knew nothing, nada about this world. But this hit me to lie down on bed to meditate. So I found on YouTube faster guided meditation with music. I don't know. I just press the first I find out and jump in bed. Being there, from listening the music, whatever was, I was to a point where I don't hear anything. And the words that was coming to me were just those: you are one of a kind. And immediately I felt love. That love that I was not knew it exists. Being in that state, my mind tried to compare with that mother love, like, nah, husband love, no, sister love, no, father love, no. I think, like, how can I compare this love? So I may understand to the mind level, what kind of love is this? And then it's coming this thought that if I will kill another human being, I will be loved the same. And then it hit me that, wow, this is God's love? Is this how God love us? Is this the unconditional love? That love you no matter what are you doing? That was experience that opened the door, so to say, Pandora box in another senses. Immediately after my dog jumped on bed, in that moment, I had to feel my physical body. And all that I felt was so weird that I could not feel my body. I could felt a piece of meat with no bones just shaking in the bed like a gelatine. Just a gelatine. I was like, what the heck is this? Immediately after, my husband called me and I realized I hear, but I cannot move. So I think like, whoa, I'm not in the body. He called my name one time, two times, three times, and I was just answering to my mind, I hear you, I cannot move. Wait a little bit, I'm not in the body. Wait, I hear you, but I cannot answer. So to a point I start to move my toes and one my fingers, and in this way just come back. I come back in the body. And I was kind of coming from another world, like, what the heck was that? Not being engaged in any of the spiritual stuff, in any of the weirdest experience. It just hit me, this experience from nowhere. And it's left me with so many questions that I cannot let that go. Going to sleep, it hit me a boost of joy, and I start to laugh in a joyful way as a child that is super happy. And I don't know why. Today, understanding that that experience was to feel the love that I am, to feel my Andromedan body, because we are multidimensional. We are a soul and a body. We are more than that. So it's give me to feel in this reality, on this planet Earth, my physical body that I have on Andromeda. Because in this lifetime, I come here with a special project to be fulfilled on planet Earth, which is from Andromeda. I'm also here as an representative, if you want to call it, an ambassador, an Andromedan ambassador. I don't like to put these tags and wrap it in a box, but because we are humans and we like to put stuff in a specific aura, that's what it is. Because I don't see myself as that. I see myself as everything and nothing. But here on this planet Earth, I come here with this specific, let's say, duty, mission, and here I am. So it's given to me to experience the body that I have on Andromeda. No bones, super gelatin, and just so weird. If you want to ask me from a human perspective, was feeling quite weird. So the next day, I could not let go. The next month, I could not let go. The next year, I could not let go of asking question after question after question after question. The next day, I go on YouTube, try to find what's mean to feel love. I don't know what to ask. I don't know what was that. I don't know anything about spirituality. I don't know from where to start. So I just write what's mean to feel love, because that kind of love, I never felt it. That kind of love I never was in touch with. That unconditioned love, I never felt it. Not even from my mom. I never felt that love. And what I was finding and seeing much more weird stuff. Star seeds, light workers, and all this really ooh stuff at that moment. I was like, this is more crazy than I think that my experience was crazy. But I go with it. I go to listen, even though I could not understand the concept and I don't understand what they say, what they are talking about. Star seeds, light workers, like what? Rainbow children, like what the heck are you talking about, man? But I was going with that to a point where I hear a name, a wonderful lady, Dolores Cannon. And that person was speaking about what she has bring into the world. So my, let's say, I guess my soul, I think like, I don't know, I need to find her. And I start to Google her name and I start to listen her conferences that was recorded online. I can say that with her assistance, I understand and comprehend and realize who I really am. If you are interested, you can find out yourself who is Dolores Cannon, what she has been done on this planet Earth, and what she has been bringing into the humans' awareness. The first book I was reading from her was The Convoluted Universe. She says that are the most difficult books to understand, the concepts to understand. For me, was a piece of cake. Because what I was reading, I felt like I am reading to remember. Like I knew this. I don't know how I knew. I know sounds look fucked up and crazy down there, energy stuff, but I felt that I knew it. And at the same time, reading that book, I could get these images. I could see some things. Listening her conferences, she bring the remembrance of who I truly am. And now as speaking this, I get super emotional because she she said a phrase I cannot remember, that in that moment I could stop from everything what I was doing. It's kind of like I was freezing. I was looking at one point. I could felt my eyes was in tears, and I say it out loud. I know who I am. I know who I am. Even though I knew nothing. But I know, and I knew in that moment that I was a soul. I was not a body. That I am an energy. I am not what I'm seeing in the mirror. Something has touching my heart that I just freezed and at that moment say, I know who I am. I never die because the soul never dies. It's transformed from one form to the other to experience whatever wants to experience, but the soul never dies. And that was the moment when something in my heart, call it, is like, call it, explode something. I cannot put words on it, but it touches something that from that moment I was so devoted to stop with my stupid habits that I was having to smoke and to continue to find books, to find what is this spirituality, to read her books. But before that, I was going into a period of psychose. I was open myself so much that I was receiving so many information that I could not split in from this reality to other reality. I was bombarded to a point where even my own husband was yelling at me because he could not get me. He could not understand me and yelling at me, telling me that he put me in a psychiatric hospital because I am nuts. But at the same time, I was aware I am not nuts. I'm just perceiving something that I don't know how to put this shit together. It's too much. I realized that was the most rough experience for me to awaken, where my husband don't know who I am, don't understand me what I am. Sharing my experience, he convinced me that it's just stuff of my mind when I say no, but I feel it in my body. It's not something I made up in my I feel it in my body. It's my experience in my physical body. But he tried to convince me that it's just woo-woo stuff from my head. I could not accept that as a truth. But I hold it for myself. I realized also in this period that more I want to move forward, more he tried to hold me back. I guess from his own fears that I touch upon something that can make me drive me crazy because I cannot put the things together. And yes, it was a period where I experienced the craziness. After 1 year, I remember on the 10/10/2020, I felt so guided to find out a place where they are doing ceremonies with ayahuasca. So I found it and I took a trip. One trip was enough to make so much change inside my beingness that's put me in a place that 2 months after to divorce, my emotion has started to change towards my husband. I could not see him having intimacy. I see him more as a friend than somebody that I can love from that perspective as husband. I saw him the best friend. We talk so good, we understand each other, but I could not see me myself continue the relationship the way has been started. So I divorced. But before to divorce, I had it to face a fight. A fight between my inner voice and my mind. That was 1 or 2 weeks of hell. Don't knowing who to talk with. Being aware I cannot talk to anybody. Those that knows me, because that was a point where nobody could know me anymore. Not even me myself could understand myself. But that was 2 weeks where I was driving my mind crazy, try to find out reasons why I divorce, why I want to divorce. Because I have all that I need. I have a husband who care for me. I have a family and a house. I have a job. I have a hobby that I love. I have the things that I always wanted. Why do I choose to let all this behind? So I try to analyze things from my mind to understand, what is this? Why? Why do I need to let all this? Is all that I want to build. Was the most painful period to go through, where I was in fight with myself, my own self, to a point where I had a mentally breakdown. Being a job, I start to cry hysterically. I was running in a corner of a room and I was shaking and really desperate, crying and say, what I'm doing here? Well, what's going on? What I'm doing here? I don't understand what I was doing there. What's going on? I tell you, it was the most crazy experience to have, to lose your mind, to lose yourself. I was afraid of myself because the experience that I was going through was impossible to be understood from the mind, and I was in a place where I don't knew who to talk with. I was not having friends, and nobody was around me so I can comprehend these experiences. So I find myself alone in my own madness. After this breakdown, I need to stay 1 week, 2 weeks home to relax. But this relaxing was becoming more chaos, more rage, yelling left and right, screaming out of my mind that I have to listen myself. And I felt the people around me try to tell me that I am crazy and I need help because I am out of my mind. But at the same time, I was so desperately because I felt I need to listen myself. And I felt that they tried to take that choice from me to choose what's right for me. So I was to psychiatric because it was an SOS moment when my brother and my husband at time they get scared themselves of my own reaction of screaming like a crazy being out of my mind because all that I could do is to scream out everything. That was looking really crazy. It ended up that I don't know what was happening that I was super stressed. Not even they knew what the heck is going on because a part of me I felt I need to hide everything what I'm going through because a part of me know they will not understand. If I will say my experience, they will medicate me and I was the from the fears of being hospitalized and medicated, I hold of speaking the truth. 1 month after, in November, I take the courage to say I'm divorcing. I don't know what I was doing. I was in a country where all that I have was my husband and my work and my hobby, and that was my life. Taking the decision to divorce, I have to overcome the fears of my mind because I don't knew what I was doing. I don't knew what I was doing and I don't knew where I will go from that point. Everything was so fast move that take off the carpet under my feet. But I did it. And I remember that feeling when I say I'm divorcing. And even though I don't knew what I was doing or what I will do after, where I'm going, where I'm moving, because I don't know anybody, the feeling of peace that I felt in my beingness, I knew I do the right thing. So I don't know where, how, in which ways, being alone in my own craziness and my own madness, not knowing who to talk, not knowing who to share my experience, I moved in another place, 300 kilometers away, far away from everything that I knew, from the husband, from the hobby, from the job, from everything, because exactly in this moment, the people that I was believe was the friends there where they pretend and they told me they are friends and they are there for me. Exactly in those points, they run away. So I find myself alone. Like alone. So I choose to get away as far away as possible so I can forget the pain, the betrayed, the all this facade that they're playing when in reality they don't give a fuck. Was my lesson. Being away for 1.5 years, I could calm myself down. I was crying every week. Every week I was crying because so many layers need to be peeled off. I was felt betrayed for those, so to say, friends. Almost cannot believing that that's happening. So I cry all that betrayed, rejection, and knowing that I left my kids behind because I felt I have been abandoned my kids that were my dogs because in my heart, in my experience, a cat or a dog, I loved them as my kids. And the pain of abandoning my girl was unbearable. So, in this 1.5 year, I was more with myself, walking, calm down my nervous system, coming close to my heart, learning to connect, learning to find a job, learning to learning to how to rent an apartment. So kind of learning to take care of myself because I never did that in my life. Never. There always was somebody by my side to do those things for me. There always was somebody. And this 1.5 year, I start to meet with the right souls, so to say, that are even today on my path, and we are working closely with. I start to go to dive deep into the hypnosis, to soul journeys, to psychedelic, to take these ceremonies, to dive deep, to peel off the layer that I carry, to cry the shit out that is there within myself, and to put the piece of puzzle together, if you want to call it. So, being away, I felt somehow I come close to myself. I realized something of who I am. Life did in such a way that somehow I was forced to go back to connect with my ex. Another crisis in my life I was going through, could not find a job. I need to pay an expensive apartment because I was moving with another friend, and then between of the things has to fall apart, and I was just forced to go to knock at his door. So I come back to live on his property, to live in his home, but not to come back in the same relationship. I realized when I was going there, I have to face myself, because being there, I kind of start to observe how I'm behaving as his wife, not as who I am today. Slowly, slowly, I try to be aware of this and changing and start to speak up for myself, to a point where I felt I felt wrapped in a cocoon again because of my own fears. Being there, I have to face myself because he represents the patterns that I carry within. And the patterns is difficult to break them. You have to be aware of them every time. You have to be aware of them and do and choose yourself every single time. That's how you break the pattern. And it was difficult for me. So for almost 2 years, I was facing myself, facing my own inner demons, crying, yelling, screaming, embodying at the same time the energy of self. So between the pain and the ecstasy of embodiment more of the divine feminine, getting glimpse of things, what really is this journey is chaos. Is chaos this journey of awakening? Is madness being served on the table? Is pain being felt and choose love? So I'm grateful for being in that environment with X, where actually in this period we create a friendship connection, talking through whatever was going through with us in all this period, even in our own connection. So open ourselves up in another way. So we transform this connection in a friendship connection. At the same time, I was facing my own demons because he was kind of mirroring the demons that I carry within, wanting to project all that outside of me. I have to learn. I have to learn to be aware we all are light and dark. Whatever we project outside of self is in ourself. To embody the energy of self, it was about being there, because what I realized, I have to be in darkness to trust my own light, to embody my own light, but being in darkness. I have felt to my physical body the embodiment of the higher power of energies. My body was going in a process of exorcism, if you want to call it, to scream, crying, shaking, and going nuts mentally. In this period, I had also to face the another crisis where I was forced to go to psychiatric to ask for help. They diagnosed me with PTSD because of the trauma that I was going through. And I'm learning how to heal myself because I know we can heal even from the PTSD without medication. I was avoiding and I was refusing to take any medication because I felt I am disconnecting myself from my own feelings and I felt I am nobody. I was not in touch with myself, and those medication take me away from myself. So I had the courage to go through whatever emotion I have to go through, but I want to be raw. I don't want to take any medication. I wanted to face the devil in my state of being. Trying and starting to have a therapy there, I realized those therapies is doing more bad than good for me. It's put me in a place where for 3 days, walking in the forest, I start to cry and scream out of my mind because it was not healthy for me. I was not seen, I was not felt, and I realized whatever I'm experiencing there in a therapy is more psychopathic than actually a treatment to help myself. I had to go through all this to experience, to understand for my own self, from my own experience, what is going on. For 1 month ago, actually, I have the courage to move away because I felt like I learned my lesson there. I learned my lesson what I was with my ex-husband because I was felt how I am being manipulated, mind raped, so to say, or playing mind games with me. What I felt this is not healthy, and because I was so sensitive, because I was embodied more and more and more of my galactic self, of my galactic consciousness in my physical body, I was so sensitive that I was taking on me also his pain as he is dealing himself with complex PTSD. So I was feeling myself in a double attack, not only carrying my own thing, but also because of everything is energy, automatically I take on me all that he was carrying. Trying always to be everything nice, realizing actually in the end I have to choose myself. One learning this lesson, opportunity come in my life where I have to move. So 1 month ago I moved. Here I am today, where I am learning to straighten my own energies of who I am and what I am embodying in this lifetime. Embodying my higher self, divine feminine essence, and the galactic consciousness of what I am carrying within me in this lifetime. I am a human, but I am galactic. I am multidimensional. I am here to walk as an example, as many of us are. I have to walk through hell alone, not knowing what's going on, so to see for myself the power that I carry within. I have to crawl to the mud so I can understand others people's pain. I'm not more special than you. I share my experience, I share my story, so you may see yourself, so you to know you are not alone, you are not crazy. But yes, it feels like crazy, it looks like crazy, it seems like crazy. We have to lose our minds so we can allow our soul to take the lead. We have to be so courageous to face the demons, to look at them in their eyes and to not be scared of them. Because that's what is this life about. Is the acceptance of polarity, of light and dark. If you think being a spiritual being is to hide yourself in the mountains or wherever, to hide yourself from the world and singing the songs of enlightenment, yeah, you may do what you're supposed to do. But the real spiritual being, what you are here to be, is to be in the middle of the chaos, but still holding strong and be in your light. That's mean to be a powerful light tower that you are meant here to be. To be spiritual is to crawl into the mud and to be okay. To eat that mud with all this shit and to understand this is life on earth. I share my story so you may understand that you're not crazy. I was believed, I was so close to lose my mind because I listen others from around me telling me that what I'm experiencing is not true. They tried to stop me to walk my path, but what I realized is that I am more strong. I just don't knew who I was, what I was, and I'm still walking to discover more of who I am. On this journey recently for 2-3 months ago is given to me the honor, and I speak this with humbleness because this experience make me humble to the bones. My ego has been obey to this duty because the experience what it was is that the creators of this world, divine mother, divine father, how I'm calling them, has been spoken to me. This experience make me humble to the bones because I realize we have no idea how they hold the divine crown on our heads and we cannot see it or feel it because we are so distracted by what's going around us. We are so distracted by pain and by these human materialistic things that we all are pushed to take. We are being told that this is the matter, this is the life, this is what it is. The message was clear for Divine Mother and Father, creators of this experience that we go through. They are proud. They are proud of how we walk the path. They don't know how this it will be, but they are proud what is to come alive from it. They also said to trust in yourself and to know who you are to the core, to trust your inner voice and to believe in your own experience. To stand up, because now is the time to stand up. To not let the darkness to pull you down, to not let the darkness to tell you something else of who you are not. To trust and believe in yourself, even though it's the most crazy things. What are you experiencing? Believe, but that is what you need to walk through. I am more humble than I never been, because my ego in that moment obeyed, have kneeled, and have obeyed to this divine mission that is to be experienced on earth, with all the light and with all the dark that is exists, because we are in a place where we have to come together with light and the dark. We don't need to fight the dark. We have to embrace it with love, because what dark wants is love. Because have felt pushed away. All what wants is love and understanding. The darkness is your shadow. The transformation is coming from within. On this spiritual journey, I've also experienced my connection with Mother Earth, feeling in my own body that her body is my body and my body is her body, and between us there is no separation. And those and all this experience give me the strength to move forward, to speak my truth, even when it's misunderstood. And it's okay. I am not the cup of tea to everybody, and I should not be. That's why we are so unique and individual in our own ways. Sharing my story and my experience on my awakening journey, I want you to comprehend and understand the madness you go through is your door to see your light. Seek for assistance. Don't walk this path when you feel you are totally out of your mind. Seek for assistance. If you feel you need help, go and seek for help. But seek for help whatever feels right for you. Don't compare your journey with my journey. My journey is an individual journey that I can see with my whole humbleness that not many can walk. Trust your path you walk on, and know that the chaos it's transforming into peace, that the pain will alchemize into the joy, and the madness will transform itself into love. It's so much more on this journey to be taken piece by piece and rapid and be more explained. But this it was for today. And now this journey is for the strongest one. This journey is for the warriors of light that dare to walk through hell but still holding the light. So, beautiful heart, I let this here, trusting that you may see yourself in whatever I have been shared and you will seek for help. Don't do what I have done. Listen to yourself. I was in my world knowing of what was going on with me. Now you know. You are not crazy. Seek for help. Spiritual being, whatever help you need, whatever is you are feel called towards, seek for that help. So beautiful hearts, take care of yourself. Thank you so much for this, and see you next time.